Today we're working on a 95 Buick LeSabre 3800 engine, and we have a pressure test on there, and he is losing a bit of pressure. And if we pull up the spout there, the engine cover, if we take a look right underneath in the valley, there is some moisture, and as we check it out we can see that there is moisture coming off of the upper intake, and that's dripping down into the valley, and you get an odor from coolant. Okay, we're taking off the vacuum lines over here. These, you just twist it clockwise and then it'll pop right out of the socket. You also disconnect your vacuum line to your fuel regulator. Put the spark plug wires off of the coil pack and got it out of the way. And then we are also disconnecting the fuel injector wires. Get everything cleared off all the way around the whole car, and we're also disconnecting all the wires to your throttle body. These connectors just have a little tab. You got to lift up on that tab and then pull it right out of the socket. And if you put it back in, just shove it back in, lift up on the tab and pull out. That's it. Okay, we need to loosen the fuel rail. You got 10 millimeter 4 bolts right in these sections, and also one on the back side down here. Also, we have on the back side here a bracket. This bar right here with the bracket, there's a bolt that came out of there. Set that on top so we can remove this bracket. That'll all come out. Okay, we're going to use a screwdriver to raise up on the injectors, and in order to pry them out of the intake. You don't have to pry too hard, just wiggle it around, and once you get it up and out of the way, then you can remove your fuel rail. Okay, next we're going to take off these 5/16. This is what I used on these. Take those off of the throttle body. Disconnect your air. You got 2 clamps. You got to disconnect those and get them out of the way. And then you also want to remove these clips for your throttle cable and also your cruise control. What you do is you lift up on the top. Once you lift up on it, you can slide it back and it comes right off. Okay, here we got 2 bolts. One bolt it's right over here, and then you got a nut over here that holds this heat shield on. Okay, once the heat shield is off, you got one more bolt that's right here that holds this bracket on, and you can lift this whole bracket up. Okay, we've got the bolt here onto this exhaust pipe that's got to come off. You also got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bolts, 9 bolts that hold this top plenum on. Once you unscrew them and take them out, then we'll continue on. Okay, we also have one bolt one nut that we have to take off. That's right over here on this bracket. That's got to come off in order to get this upper intake out. Okay, we got the nut off. All we got to do is just lift up on this thing, slide it back, and out she comes. And then we can see what's going on inside. Alright, we got the exhaust tube for the EGR. All you have to do on this one is twist it forward and pull it out, and that's all there is to that. And you got to put that into the new upper intake. Now on the throttle body we have to take off 3 bolts or 3 nuts. You got one there, you got one on this side. Here it's right in between the, see if we can get some light, there it is. Okay, that one, and then also one on this side. Alright, we use a single-edged razor, and we're going to clean up all the garbage and the old gasket stuff off of the throttle body. We're going to reuse that to bolt onto the new upper intake manifold, and we're also going to clean off everything down here, but try not to make any gouges into the aluminum so that everything will seal and hold. Okay, next thing we want to do is check the pieces, make sure all O-rings that you're putting into the new intake manifold. This is the new manifold, and we're going to be putting all the parts back on. Any O-rings that mount in there, you want to check them to make sure that there are no cuts and no sections that are broken or missing, that the rubber is nice and pliable. And we can start installing everything back in to the intake, and also put the intake back onto the upper intake onto the lower intake. And there you can see everything's nice and clean. You can use a blower, blowgun, and to blow into the holes just to make sure you don't have any moisture or oil or anything in there. You want to blow that out because that will restrict your torque. When you're torquing it down, it may give you a torque reading, and it's just hitting moisture on the bottom or liquid. Okay. Alright, we got a little bit of Loctite on the bolt, and on the new one we also have Loctite on there. That's on the new studs, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay, here we're blowing out the blow out the intake just to make sure nothing fell in there. Okay, now we're ready to install it, and we slide it back in place. And put a little bit of Loctite on the intake, upper intake manifold bolts, and the short one will go in the back, right in the back down there. Okay, when you torque down the upper intake bolts, you start from the center and you crisscross. You go to the other side and you work your way out. And once you get them all tightened up to specs, and you're all set. Okay, don't forget the exhaust bolt there for the EGR, and also your bracket that is on the side of the throttle body. You got to get those bolts tightened. And then before you put the fuel injector fuel rail in, you want to check on the fuel injectors. There's a O-ring that is on the each injector. You want to make sure those are soft and pliable. None of them are missing. If they're missing, you're going to get a check engine light to come on. So all of them are on and good. Okay, one of the things that you can do on the put a little bit of silicone or some lithium grease on the injectors, and also in the holes where the seals go. It helps them slide in a little bit easier. Okay, once these injectors snap in place, you can put in your bolts. There's 4. 1, 2, 3, and the 4th one is over there. Okay, next you want to install your wiring for the fuel injector. Snap all the wiring into place and into the injectors, and also for your EGR, your throttle plate, your idle air control and throttle position sensor, and also the any other electrical wires that you have there. Next, you install your bracket for your cables, accelerator cable, and also your cruise control. That's on the bottom here. And then you install your clips, and you stick in your the vacuum hose connector. Stick it in and twist it. You also install the vacuum hose on your meter there, fuel pressure regulator, and any other clips and pieces you put in. Okay, next we'll put in the heat shield, so that the heat shield keeps the exhaust gases away from the cables. Okay, we got the air ducts in. Put on the engine cover, put in the spark plug wires onto the coils, filled your radiator with coolant and also your reservoir with coolant. So we're all set to go. Okay, the last thing you want to do is go on a road test. Make sure that there is no check engine lights coming on or any other conditions that you might see that